Well, as China strengthens its diplomatic muscle, it is also trying to increase its cultural influence beyond its borders. Our reporter Helen Hu looks into how this cultural mission is going as she reports now from one of the year's most important Sinology conferences.
I'm here at Renmin University, one of China's top seats of learning. Behind me, an international conference on Sinology is currently underway. Experts and scholars from countries across the world are gathered here to discuss the very latest developments in the field under the theme of Sinology and cross-cultural communication.
These people have come here from every corner of the globe, but they all have one thing in common. They are all experts on Sinology, the study of Chinese history and culture using Western research methods. And they've come here to discuss the growing impact of Chinese culture on the world, from traditional Chinese opera to the role of China's Confucius Institutes. Kurt Anders Richardson, a U.S. professor at a Canadian university, is one of the participants.
This is a world-class conference, and it shows China's leadership, both in terms of its commitment to the broadest possible learning, as well as participation in global cultural affairs.
The conference was co-sponsored by Renmin University and the Chinese Language Council International, part of the Ministry of Education.
We hope this conference will promote Sinology research and the cooperation and communication in the field across the world.
With the growth of its economy, China has also tried to increase its cultural clout. There are now more than 280 Confucius Institutes in 87 countries. Mandarin is being taught in more schools and universities outside of China than ever before, and even Washington is starting to take note. The House of Representatives recently voted overwhelmingly to honor the 2650th anniversary of the birth of Confucius, China's most famous ancient philosopher.
That will be very important because certainly the United States has a lot of things to learn from China. I think one of the important things to learn is Confucian humanism, Confucian ethics, which are very much lacking in the United States. This is a great thing.
But not everybody is so optimistic. Liu Xiaofeng was one of the keynote speakers at the conference.
I've been to Europe and the United States many times. From my experience, most Westerners don't care about Chinese culture, but many Chinese care a lot about Western culture. This is the reality.
And Liu says any growth in China's cultural influence is closely linked to its economy.
Chinese culture has caused some overseas interests in recent years, but that's because of China's economic development.
The conference organizers certainly think Chinese culture can challenge America's cultural dominance. But only time will tell if Beijing opera and Confucius can really compete with Hollywood movies and Calvin Klein designs. Helen Hu, BON.
Well, Sylvia, an interesting comment towards the end of that feature from Liu Xiaofeng, professor at Renmin University, drawing a distinction between the interest in Chinese culture and the political and economical fields. But for people who work in China, study in China, visit China, inevitably they're going to soak up some Chinese culture.
Right, and in fact, there is a growing interest in learning Chinese around the world. There are about 40 million people learning Chinese right now, and by 2010, the Ministry of Education in China predicts that there will be 100 million people learning Chinese around the world.
That's right, a huge increase in just a short period of time, going from 40 million up to 100 million.
Right.
There's also more than 300 Confucius Institutes in over 80 countries around the world, so yet another example of the growing influence of Chinese culture around the world.
Right. Well, stay with us. BON News continues with Straight from the Street next.